Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up for the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, national anthem of New Zealand.
Well, New Zealand and Cuba trying to bounce back from tough defeats to France, the hosts. I don't think too many people would have given either team a chance against the number 14 in the FIBA rankings. And the question now is which of these teams will move on to the quarterfinals. The referees will be Amy Bonner, Amit Balak, and Yasmina Yuris from USA, Israel, and Serbia, respectively. That's Yasmina on the left from Serbia and Amy from US in the middle. And Cuba have had a prominent role in international basketball, certainly in the FIBA Americas for many years. And I think we're kind of wondering if they're on the downswing. As you look at their roster, there's one noticeable absence. It's Yamara Margot. You know, for Alberto Zavala, that's quite an absentee. I mean, you're talking about an All-Star 5 member from last year. They really look to Clenia Noblet, number 12, who has good size, soft shooting touch, and knows for the basket to do a lot. Now, Casanova, Romero, Oquindo, Marlon Tapeda, and Noblet will remain in the starting 5 mark.
Well, Tapeda for me is the girl who's really got to add to this unit, because Noblet came and played the other day against France, had good numbers personally. She didn't get a lot of support from her lineup, you know, from the people around her. And the thing that's just going to be key for Cuba is how much pressure they can put on this New Zealand team, and therefore other people have to make the contribution to get into the rotation. Both teams have similar sort of dynamics in many ways, because they try to rotate 7-8 players. Those 7-8 players from New Zealand last night particularly did well coming off the bench. I mean, they had 19 points off the bench in a relatively low scoring game. So they'll be confident in what they'll get off the bench. But as I said right at the beginning, Michaela Cox is a quality basketball player at any level. Now, you're going up against Celine Dumerc and Coupe from France, so you're going to have your work cut out. But she's not going to have games like another game back-to-back like she had last night. And on the inside in particular, the quality on the inside of Evanson is there to see. So New Zealand, for me, would start the slight favorite, but they've got to be wary of the pressure they're going to be put under. especially by that quick back court that Cuba have. And you mentioned Noblet with the 17 points, 11 rebounds. That's a double-double against France, and they are big on the inside. That was a tremendous performance by her, especially shooting 50%. You know, she's putting up good numbers. Davidson made a statement last night, first couple of plays, with big blocks on Sandeline Bruder. Only having the 6 points and 3 rebounds doesn't really tell the story of how influential she was filling the middle defensively for this New Zealand team. So I think if New Zealand can control the tempo, they would have a favourites chance. I just can't believe Cuba are going to come out as flat as they did against France. This will be an interesting one.
Alberto Zavala is a long way from home, but so are New Zealand. They've invested a lot into coming into this FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament. Kennedy Kariyama taking his team on tour to China. They went to Latvia, they went to Spain. They had great preparations. They've watched Cuba play. Nothing really surprised them the other night when they watched them, so they know what they're going up against. The question is, do they control their own destiny? The answer is yes, but what they can't control is how well Cuba are going to play. You can't imagine that they're going to play as poorly as they did against France. That said, New Zealand probably have a tougher task with the quicker turnaround. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to North France. It's the FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament, and it's a decisive game here in Group A between New Zealand and Cuba. The winner will advance to the quarterfinals, where France are already waiting. And Okindo is going to start things off. Hit a jump shot.
Well, New Zealand obviously decided they're going to try and play defense inside the three-point line, just trying to contain. They're going to offer that shot to Cuba.
Jillian Harmon tries to get to the rack and misses. Casanova goes to the other end and misses.
Tired-looking shot by Harmon, wasn't it? You've got to hope that New Zealand can just get energy coming out of the gate here.
And Michaela Cox logged a lot of minutes. Here's Harmon again, facing a double team, gets it out to Paul Vost. She goes to the rim. I did expect a little bit more from her last night, although they were difficult circumstances, so she's a candidate perhaps to step it up a bit tonight.
Well, they've got a number of people who, to an extent, they saved a little bit. They tried to keep a little bit in the tank in the fourth quarter when the game had gone last night. But the inside-outside play we just saw, that's exactly the type of thing you'd expect to see them do. They're going to offer Cuba that perimeter game as often as they can. They do not want to get turned.
Well, that was Romero. Bounce pass now from Edmondson to Davidson, who for me, even though she was in the starting lineup, was a genuine revelation in international basketball. There you see Harmon taking a tough shot. Okindo takes another three and throws it off the front of the rim. There's Paul Vost. A little bit long, but the long rebound goes out to Davidson. Edmondson's going to put one up. It's online, but short. Well, that ball off of New Zealand.
See, Cuba, who you would hope or would think perhaps they would get out there and try and play a lot of pressure. You know, they've looked at the numbers from last night, and in terms of 25% from the field last night, New Zealand, they're saying you can't score enough to beat us. So you're not going to let you get to the bucket. So if either of these teams, and I think Cox could be crucial, someone's got to get hot here. Someone's got to be confident with their perimeter game.
Romero, another one. This one is good. And you can see Cuba trying to get emotionally charged up. They really tried to put a positive spin on their performance the other night by saying they played well in the last 5-6 minutes of the game. So it was a real horror show for much of the contest against France. We're talking about Cuba. Harmon, she hits the jump shot.
Yeah, mid-range game, same thing again, a little penetration. And Cuba have got to play the scramble, the rotation a little better. They've got to get out to people, got to rotate quicker.
Harmon gets the rebound off the Romero miss. Looks like Romero's got the green light to put it up whenever she wants. She's taken 3 threes and hit 1. Davidson fouled at the point of entry. Stella Beck, I thought, did very well last night. The foul was on Cepeda. Stella Beck going to check into the game for Tony Edmondson. And you wonder already from a fatigue standpoint if this is why that move is being made.
I don't think New Zealand can rack minutes up in the first half. Come second half, not a problem. They've got to manage it going in.
Cox shooting struggles continue.
That's traveled.
There's Thompson, the reserve, didn't get in last night for Cuba. Talvosh running the baseline. Harmon, pump fake, back outside to Stella Beck. Back to Harmon. Guarded by Noblet. Turnaround, no good. And Romero snatches the ball out of the air. And so far, Noblet hasn't even attempted a shot. And we're more than 4 minutes into the game. Here she is, and he gets swatted. And I'll tell you what, Davidson is going to be up amongst the leaders in block shots here by the end of this tournament. Okindo travels.
The worry for me in the last couple of sets when the ball gets stuck. Last night they did a good job, especially in the first half, of making the ball move and keeping the ball move. It's pass and stop, and that Cuban defense is not getting into rotations and not being broken down. So they make a pass, it's held, make a pass, it's held. And therefore the defense always knows where it is and do not get into a rotation.
Cox is short, grazed the net. Erin Rooney's going to check into the game. That's interesting. She's a shooter. Cepeda drives in, draws the foul from Davidson.
Yeah, Rooney, you mentioned last night about Rooney expecting when surprised she maybe didn't get in because she is a shooter. This is the sort of game with Cuba playing a little soft defensively and offering up the shot. As you see, Cepeda getting to the far side of the ring. And no real need to foul that. She's going away from the hoop. She's got to go over Davidson, who just blocked, so she's got to play big. Like Rooney could have a game here. She could be a factor in the way that Cuba are playing defense. She makes a couple of shots and gets hot. It may change the structure down at the defensive end for Cuba.
I know she wasn't able to play a lot of the games during the preparations early on while she was recovering from the knee injury. So I guess she wasn't 100% certain to be in the squad, but she felt fit by the end. And Cepeda pressures Kalani Purcell and the ball goes out of bounds.
Jeff, I thought they were so good as we're going to see that turnover last night. So good in the first half, in first quarter in particular, moving it and penetrate, kick, move it again. And the tempo was much higher. They looked a bit heavy leg.
Cepeda goes up and puts one up and in.
Well, she's definitely trying to help. You know, we said top of the game, she needed to become another scorer in those 4 or 5 positions, and she started very well.
We saw Cuba, we saw New Zealand attack the basket a lot last night, much more like that. And again, a missed shot. So it goes back over to Cuba. So it is a difficult start for New Zealand. Davidson's going to come back in now after a quick breather and spell Harmon.
You've got to get out, if they are in a bad place in terms of their mental fatigue, you've got to get out of it quickly. This Cuba team is quick, and they're getting the ball inside very easily at the moment. Not necessarily scoring every time, but they're getting shots from areas of the floor they would like to get shots from.
Cox puts up another one and still can't get it to fall. Into the corner. Now back to Okindo. And Romero launches one from the arc. Well, they're getting their share of threes to go up. Beck drives in and puts it up and in with the left hand.
Good push. No one stopped her. You know, you're often getting into that scenario in the gym, in practice, like, who stopped you? Did anyone stop you? No one stopped her. She was under control. Beautiful finish with her left hand. That's the first easy look they've had in terms of points in transition as well. And their defense is normally good enough to generate transition opportunities.
Yeah, the game, New Zealand, it's begging someone to step up and do something. Maybe Beck is that candidate. As college basketball, St. Mary's, where Matthew Dellavedova played for the men's team. The Australia International. Now Davidson over to Cox. And Purcell, I think, is called for travel.
Jeff, we had the same worries about a Nigeria team coming out very shortly after a game like before. They dug in and found a way, and they needed some lifts off one or two individuals off the bench in there. 1-point win yesterday, which obviously didn't prove enough to get them into the quarterfinals. That's what New Zealand need. They need that lift.
Well, Cepeda, they're going to give the ball. They're going to say it went off of Michelle.
Yeah, knocked away. There.
Yep. Galindo Martinez is going to come into the game for Oquindo, and Tony Edmondson is going to come back in for Aaron Rooney.
Lindo had a nice game. You know, she was the other player alongside Nobler who had a really, big impact for them against France. Fouls called while it's on the floor.
Michelle not getting the rub of the green right now. She's called for the foul coming over the back. That's her second. She might have to come out. So frustrating cameo for Purcell, involved with a couple of turnovers and a couple of fouls. Rooney also back out. We got Edmondson. We got all the starters in with the exception of Paul Bust. Beck stays in the game. Romero gives it to Galindo Martinez, and she tries to pick up where she left off the other night. And Cuba failed to get the rim. Oh, they're calling a foul.
No, there was a just ahead of the buzzer going. There was a foul on the rebound, and it's always harsh when it happens that type. I think the serving official got it exactly right.
Casanova goes off the back of the rim now. Noblet with the rebound. Noblet gets it back.
Well, New Zealand never got outworked, and especially didn't get outworked in the first half last night. Getting outworked on the glass.
Noblet goes up too hard. Now Edmondson up to Davidson, who runs the court well and puts it up and in. The Golden Bear.
Ran the rim. Rim to rim, got there ahead of everybody else. Nice pass as well, they had numbers. Cuba can't get beat in transition. They're so athletic, they're quick, they've got to get back.
Cepeda goes to work, misses, and Davidson could be out for a big game today. She gets the rebound. Now Harmon catches it down low, passes it back out to Edmondson. Casanova with the rebound. She pushes it up the right. Entry pass, and they are going to get an and one. And Cepeda, watch the entry pass, bounce pass.
Yeah, they talked a lot last night after the game about not helping early enough and trying to help the person fronting. And again, the help was a little late, so Cepeda had space to make the move. I think this whole problem for New Zealand in terms of are they going to score enough points gets solved if Cox gets going from the perimeter. She's that good a player. At some point, it's going to start to happen.
Cepeda misses, but Galindo Martinez gets the rebound to keep it with Cuba, who lead by 3. Josie Stockdale now in the game for Panina Davidson. And also Jordan Hunter checks into the game for the Tall Ferns. Good hustle, good hands from the Tall Ferns, and Edmondson comes up with the ball. Now she looks for a way to the rim, goes up and can't get it to fall.
And this is really becoming a little bit worrying for Cuba in that wasn't even quick transition. No one stopped the basketball. And to be quite honest, Edmondson's going to be disappointed that she's not there for the M1. Good take, good decision, good rotation that time if it's the play we're going to get. Yeah, Edmondson's there, already on the split line.
So that was Jordan Hunter you saw in the replay there that knocked the ball away. And was able to trigger the break for Edmondson. He had 17. What did she have last night?
Edmondson had, she had 10 points. She was the only double-digit player for New Zealand last night. And they just dried up completely in the fourth quarter of that game against France. It just wore them out.
Well, Pavea's come into the game. We didn't see her against France. And also Gellis, who, as you can imagine, is quite quick, number 7. Galindo Martinez, she loves going baseline, gets it over to Gellis in the corner. Three-pointer is good. Final minute of the first quarter. Tony Edmondson drives in, tough shot. Galindo Martinez, Gellis. Back to Galindo Martinez, misses. Final 8 seconds, New Zealand have it. Will they go inside, will they launch a J? They've got 3 seconds, it's gonna be Edmondson, and off target. So the shot's not falling right now for the Tall Ferns. And Cuba have a 14-10 lead after the opening quarter.
The biggest concern, if you're a New Zealand fan looking at this, is at the moment that they're starting to look for shots as opposed to run stuff and get shots. You know, 0 from 6, they're woeful. Neither team is going to be happy with the percentages at all. And also, like, no one's really being aggressive and going to line. It's a game where people are settling for jump shots. And that's partly down to the fact that defense has decided that's what they're going to offer. But New Zealand lost that sharpness they had in the first half last night. They were very sharp coming into transition, the ball not sticking and being aggressive. Cuba's a little bit similar. They're just, you know, they're not playing against France with all that size underneath. Because Sapeda's been a factor, where she was not a factor against France on day 1 of this tournament.
Don't start sending this in on the floor, though. Make sure we communicate.
Cuba are going to be happy, though, Jeff.
If Casanova's on the floor, you can dig off there and help.
New Zealand don't have anything in the tank to try and get that same tempo they had in the first half last night.
Short closeouts, anything over a hand's good for us.
Et nous, on va continuer effectivement à applaudir ces deux équipes. Et si on commençait maintenant.
So Stockhill remains in the game. Number 13, Paul Voss back in for the Tall Ferns. He's got the ball, hands it to Harmon, left open. And Cox came in, tried to tap it to a teammate, but found Gellis. Gellis goes to the other end, scores.
Tough, strong finish, got a hit, got a little bit of ball on the defensive side as well, and a really good finish. New Zealand just settled for another jump shot.
Well, Harmon goes around her opponent and misses the reverse layup.
Every shot's a tough shot at the moment for New Zealand. Every shot's a tough one.
Look at Gellis with the speed, hustles down. Good steal. Harmon couldn't quite control it though, gives it back to Galindo Martinez. And she's gonna go all the way, miss. And the ball goes out of bounds. Referee says off New Zealand.
I think you're gonna find that it's not coming off New Zealand.
Wow.
In fact, it came off 2 Cubans. As I always say, it's a little bit easier when you get a chance to re-look, but I'm not sure how they missed that one.
Casanova up top. Finds Noblet. And this probably one of the main pluses for New Zealand is they haven't allowed Noblet to get going yet. That could be facing a bigger deficit.
And at the moment, it's probably the biggest positive they have. Because down this end of the floor, again, pass, stop. Everything's pass, stop. Now McCox has got to exploit that matchup.
Yep, she gets in, but doesn't finish. Remember, the winner of this game goes to the quarterfinals here. The loser is out of contention for a spot in the Olympics. The grind sometimes of international basketball. You have to play day after day, and you have to maintain that high level of performance. And New Zealand's struggling right now to repeat from last night. And Paul Voss was short. Gellis into the lane, over to Purveyor on the baseline, and I tell you, she's a secret weapon because she played well at the World Championship 2 years ago, but didn't even play against France.
Didn't play a minute. And you can see that's disappointing for her, but she's come out this game positively. Difference there, they got down the floor, they penetrated and kicked it to a 10-footer with no one there. New Zealand aren't getting those looks apart from on 1 or 2 occasions.
Down this end, still not blocking out. P, put your sub in for Josie. Good job the last couple. Body up. Body up. And dig in. And run down that end of the floor. And then we're in corner. Corner for the rest of the bloody quarter. I want good looks. And I want us getting on the rim and making reads and hitting screens and doing the little things well. All right, dig in. Here we go.
So back to basics for New Zealand, who you can see are having an almighty struggle shooting the ball. Cuba not much better, but they still have an 18-10 lead.
Oh, they made those couple of threes, and that, pretty much
it's the difference.
Is the difference. They're also rebounding much better. I mean, they're doing a nice job keeping the ball alive at the offensive end.
Cuba have a couple of speed demons in the game with Casanova and Gellis in the backcourt. Purveyor, who's just come in and hit a jump shot. Okindo's back in along with Noblet. Edmondson puts up a jumper.
Good execution that time. They were much sharper. The ball didn't stick as much. Edmondson came off a nice stagger and got her feet set quickly. Much sharper coming out of timeout.
Well, Gellis drives down the lane. It's a different look from Cuba. Now an offensive foul called by the Israeli referee on Cox for raising her left elbow to try to clear some space. Left forearm.
Cox was a shot to that one. We're going to get a look.
Yep, good call. Purveyor right at the line.
This is where they were very good last night. They give it up and attack it like that, and they move it and attack it again, but now the ball stops.
They Davidson's going to go all the way, puts it up, and can't quite make the shot, but earns a trip to the line. I think that's an option, actually, Davidson. She seems to have that ability to put the ball on the deck and go to the basket.
And I think that in a number of matchups, New Zealand have this sort of opportunity because the defense isn't really taking away the drive as it should. It's everybody else has to move because if they move, that means the help has to make a decision. At the moment, Cuba is just too able to get on the help line and stay there. They're not being moved. There's no player or ball movement. It's very, very static. And apart from that last play where Edmondson got the nice three off the staggered screen, the timing was excellent.
Wow. She missed both. Right now, it's starting to become a psychological battle for New Zealand. Jealous. Alto Tindo. Spin, puts it up and in.
2 points going to the basket again for Cuba.
Davidson. Good low post moves from her. Good footwork.
It's just getting her the ball in the right areas, and that's definitely where she can do some damage. Great, as you say, great footwork. That pivot foot and stepping through.
Gillis gets inside. Harmon with the rebound. Cox open over to Beck. The jump shot off the rim, but Cox gets the rebound.
Got to attack the defense.
There's Harmon. She gets in, then pulls back and knocks down the jump shot about a couple of meters.
And again, the initial move was to get the defense backing up. Then she got separation and got a shot that she obviously practices. She went with a lot of confidence to that turnaround.
Gillis, one on the shot clock, and it gets swatted by Beck. Well, that was a good defensive stand. And Cuba not really moving the ball as well.
Well, as we always say, game of runs, and at the moment, for the first time
in the game,
yeah, New Zealand got a couple of stops. They got some good options down the other end. Halfway through the second quarter, just got to maintain, got to keep the ball moving.
Trying to do too much there, Davidson. She was going to drive, then she decided to pass it back out.
Pour Cuba en tête, la joueuse numéro 6, Galindo, et de la joueuse numéro 8, Romero.
South Korea spring, I guess, a mild upset earlier today, beating Belarus to reach the quarterfinals ahead of Nigeria. Who is it going to be from this game? Oh, Galindo Martinez, jump shot. Harmon gets bumped on the baseline by Noblet.
The reward is there for New Zealand to see the opportunities they've taken to actually attack the defense, trying to actually get to be on the player guarding them to get the Cuban defense into rotations. It's there when they're aggressive, when they move the ball quickly. They've been rewarded for it. Be decisive. Just have to be decisive.
Well, the Dolphins are going big now. They've got both Purcell and Davidson in the game. There's Davidson again. Boy, she uses her body well, but just can't get it to fall. Noblet with the rebound. Romero had a look. She's going to launch it. And Noblet with the offensive rebound and put back. And back to a 10-point lead for Cuba. Harmon, the reach.
They get fouled out to an extent, but they have absolutely the call's right. But pass went down low, and all four players away from the ball just stood. You can see like the feet, they're not moving, they're just all standing on the perimeter while that penetration happens, which enables help to come down because they know where the you know, the offense is. They've just got to find a way to get rhythm, to move. This is very, very static.
Cox for three.
If they have a play where Cox ends up with a favorite shot she has, run it now. They've got to get it going.
Purcell, tough shot for her, flying in. A little bit out of control.
One on whatever penetration with no options for the penetration, for the player penetrating. Everyone stands. 26%. They're down at the level they were at against France, and France are a far better defensive team than Cuba.
Galindo Martinez, another jumper, this one off target.
Got to run here, Jeff. They've got to get people down the floor.
Well, Purcell almost dragged her foot, but she hustled down, caught the pass from Davidson, and beat Cuba down before that time.
There are points in transition for both teams here in New Zealand. Got to commit to transition.
Going baseline, Romero gets blocked from behind by Beck. And a foul has been called.
Help was late again. You know, 1 foot in the keyway is 1 foot too many. And the help's got to get there. The help's not even out of the charge circle. And you know it's something to emphasize. They talked about it a lot yesterday in their press conference about, you know, committing to that help line. But at the moment, they're isolating the player guarding the ball.
Shoa comes in the game for Noblet. Timeout here, I think, by New Zealand. So still looking for some type of formula. It's going to work.
Go with two sides, the two-side next play, due inbound after our shots.
I'm almost again on that place where it's not necessarily what coach draws up on the ball now. Whatever he draws up, they've got to move offensively. Yeah, they've got to go and set a screen. Look down the floor. If there's someone down the floor coming out of the set, go set a screen. Get that defense moving. So they're actually not there making simple decisions. On transition, last night they were so impressive running the floor in that first half. They're not there in the same way. And as much as we can feel for their situation, this is a game where they have to win. You're not tired in a game you have to win. Mentally, you've got to find a way to get out of it. And at the moment, they're just struggling a little bit. And I'll repeat the thing about Cox. Find an option to get her a shot she really wants to take. I think if she gets going, the whole team's going to get a lift.
We saw Nellis, her numbers coming off the bench, 7 points. And right now it is Romero at the free throw line. Only 1 of 2 Romero. Full-court pressure. Cox wasn't ready. Cuba gets the steal. Good wrinkle from the coach. Romero goes down. And now New Zealand with a chance to run, but Harmon's going to hold on to it.
They're so quick, aren't they, defensively, Cuba, when they want to be.
Harmon cross-court to Edmondson. Passed up the jumper, and that allows the interception from Galindo Martinez. And that's exactly what Kerry Alvarez just told Tony Edmondson to shoot it. And the Cuban defense starting to take over the game. Somebody's got to be open out of the double team. And they find Davidson, and she puts it up. But if the double team comes, you know you've got to find the open player.
It's almost, even though they almost come up with the steal, Cuba almost don't need the double team at the moment because they've been able to contain New Zealand in the half court. Maybe, you know, looking to really exert an advantage here.
Casanova for 3. Edmondson fouled by Galindo Martinez. Well, the only good thing for New Zealand right now is they've got 21 minutes still to play in this game, but they've got to they need to dig deep here. And Cuba, meanwhile, just are growing in confidence.
That's the biggest worry, that Cuba are now starting to really extend their defense, really try and run the floor. And maybe last night, as good as France were in that second half, the offensive issues that New Zealand had are literally just that offensive issues that New Zealand have in trying to get points.
Well, Cox got it to fall. She was hoping to get into the shooting motion before the foul.
That's the toughest shot she's taken, and she made it.
She's going to get 2 shots here. They're in the bonus.
It's just coming up to the half, almost the worst time for her to find. If she can find some rhythm from the free throw line, get these to drop, come out the second half confident, she just will add so much to the offensive output that this team have. New Zealand have fouls to give. Interesting to see if they do try and go up the floor a little bit, or trap themselves just to try and generate something in this last 48 seconds. It's tough to trap this Cuban team, though. Quick.
Yep, 8 on the shot clock here. Galindo Martinez and traveled. So with 30.3 seconds remaining, New Zealand down 10. Guess they'll try to run it down as far as they can, but they got to be ready that Cuba will get back quickly. Oh, Cox left wide open. And the offensive rebound is a new 14, but they're going to go ahead and put it up since they had the shot. And that's probably the wise thing to do right now.
In that situation, yeah, the Cuban defense was nowhere. Everson did a good job, good recognition, nice pass. They got fouls to give here.
2 seconds, 1 second, and didn't have to burn it.
Absolutely.
So in the grand scheme of things, it could have been worse for New Zealand. They've got a chance now to go to halftime and regroup. But Cuba, very impressive, taking advantage of some of their opportunities and also ratcheting up the defense. They lead at 32-24.
Well, New Zealand up to 45%. The 0 for 9 is, Michaela Cox can't buy one. You know, she's looking everywhere. She's been in the corner. She's been at the top. She just can't buy anything at all from the perimeter. That's you've got to think statistically, the laws of averages, etc. That's going to change. And it really is just the performance in terms of their shooting percentage that literally gives Cuba lead, because New Zealand are struggling to get it to turn over, to get the score to click over. Turnovers and everything else are pretty level. But they only scored 52 points last night, and they're on target for just under that tonight. So that those issues they have in scoring in the second half, they've carried on in the first half here. You know they're going to go into the locker room and regroup. You know they're going to come out with some energy, and that might be enough. But Cuba have got confidence now. They're pushing the ball. Romero's doing a nice job pushing. Gallus is making things happen defensively, and Galindo's done the same thing she did against France, really giving them a lift off the bench. So after Sapina's good start, signs are good for Cuba.
So they lead at 32-24 at halftime over New Zealand.
Allez, 7 minutes avant le début de cette deuxième partie de rencontre, j'espère que vous allez bien. Nous avons effectivement passé une soirée exceptionnelle hier soir avec la victoire de l'équipe de France et contre la Nouvelle-Zélande. Et c'est un peu que vous l'avez pris, l'enjeu est primordial pour les deux équipes, à savoir la Nouvelle-Zélande et la Cuba, puisqu'ils se placent en quart de finale. Et bien évidemment, est en jeu. Alors comme j'ai dit tout à l'heure, il y a un certain nombre de clubs qui sont parmi nous aujourd'hui. Et n'hésitez pas à crier et faire du bruit quand vous allez entendre le nom de votre club, ça nous fera plaisir. Et nous avons Trakio, La Chapelle-là, Golf Saint-Germain, Orvaux, le Palais Pays d'Annecy, Saint-Méline de Buisson, Saint-Étienne-de-Munich, Sucy-sur-Erdre, Basse-sur-Loire, Saint-Luce, l'Immaculée Saint-Nazaire, Gétigné, Joachim, Orvaux-Sport, Élan de Georges, les Couettes, Bougnay, la Vessie-Thermale, AFPCM par Nantes, Houck, Diné-Rosé et la SPT Nantes. Allez, dans un peu plus de 5 minutes, eh bien, nous allons remettre ça pour deux cartons.
Mesdames et messieurs, en tant que ballon officiel de la FIBA et des tournois qualificatifs olympiques, Molten est fier de présenter son ballon édition spéciale 2016. Son design dynamique représente les mouvements et l'agilité des meilleurs joueurs de basket au monde. Rejoignez Molten et montrez votre soutien à votre équipe nationale alors qu'ils jouent à leur plus haut niveau avec intégrité et fair play. Pour en savoir plus, visitez le site fiba.com et participez au concours pour gagner un ballon. Molten, édition spéciale. Tout de suite sur la vidéo, Molten for the Rare Game.
Zealand trailing by 8 points and not looking anything close to the team that they looked like last night against France, albeit they were really good in the first half when they led the French, but then fell away in the second, although they were worn down. And right now, Kennedy Kariyama on the left, and Chris Lucas on the right, and Ike Ho, his other assistant, putting their heads together, trying to come up with a little bit of extra inspiration to try to turn this game around. And they could be on the next flight back home to Auckland. Cuba, meanwhile, Alberto Zabala has been in this situation before, and he knows there's a long way to go before they can start celebrating their spot in the quarterfinals. So as a reminder, the winner of this game will advance to a quarterfinal here at the FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament, and in all likelihood face Turkey, who were convincing winners against Argentina yesterday. Well, Mark, 32-24, you know, is it, you think New Zealand can regroup and get back into this, or do you see Cuba just getting stronger and stronger?
No, I definitely see New Zealand being able to regroup. I mean, just if you take, you know, stats are always easy to quote and overquote sometimes, but, you know, Cox has gone 0-6, Edmondson's gone 1-2, and 1 from 5, and Harmon's gone 2 from 7. That's 3 from 18 from arguably take Edmondson out of that league, their 3 most potent scoring threats. The stats normally have a habit of trying to even themselves out. If you take that line, then New Zealand are going to get far more than 24 in this half. But I just, it's about how they come out of the locker room with energy. If they come out with energy, I'm sure Michaela Fox is going to start making shots. I'm sure Edmondson is going to try and get back into the rhythm they looked like they had last night. It's just been lacking being decisive. And Cuba, as you said, towards the end of that first half, their confidence was coming up, so therefore their defense gets extended. All of a sudden, they look a more active, positive team. New Zealand are going to make a statement in this third. They don't have to win this third quarter. They just have to stay with it, and they have to make a statement with their energy.
Well, it's now or never time for New Zealand and Cuba. Cuba's up by 8. Wearing the blue, attacking the basket to the right. Cepeda turns, puts it up, and doesn't score with the left hand. Cox dribbles up the floor with a head up. Remember, Cox was the grand final MVP with Townsville this season, just recently, in fact. And looking for her shooting stroke, which is going AWOL here in Nantes. Melanie Purcell gets the start here in the second half.
And it's about 2 steps slower than last night. That's the difference. And it's hard, you know. You mentioned it, you've got to get out the next day and play again. That's what international basketball requires you to do.
Well, and Cox finally buries the jump shot, and maybe that'll get her on track.
Well, welcome to the tournament. Yeah, it's literally after a shot last night she's now made 1. Is this going to be the half where she just turns her team around and carries them?
That gets it back to a 6-point deficit. Noblet's been relatively quiet. Cepeda, now the double team on Noblet down low. She goes up, she puts it over the rim. Good defense from Davidson, and the foul on Cepeda. Pove is going to come in immediately. Just 1 minute and 6 seconds into the second half for Cepeda. So Cepeda missed the shot early on. She's got 3 fouls, but not looking good in that early stage. So Zabala makes the move immediately.
Got to build momentum now. Keep the ball moving, be aggressive with it, be assertive, all those things are about being decisive. Then the ball gets stuck again and the defense stands. Then they're going to run a great play.
Purcell for 3! Talk about bailing him out at the end of an offense that looked like it had ground to a halt. Purcell.
Score, stop. And, you know, it's very early in the game to talk about, you know, swings and real changes.
Noblet trying to get on track. She's denied. Davidson playing big down low for the Tall Ferns. And New Zealand perhaps trying to force it a bit much there.
Yeah, but you almost, they got away with it, but you want the fact they pushed it. And you want the fact that they're going to keep being, now they've got to be that positive route. They got away with it, you're right, it's a bad decision, but when you work hard, you get rewarded. And that's what's happened to start this third.
Harmon hands it off to Cox. And they're going to call it travel. It looks awkward. There was contact.
Yeah, it's one of those things that look like a travel, so it's called a travel.
Watch this.
Take a look. Well, they're going to take a look at the jump shot, which is far more in some ways.
Well, good defense from Casanova, forcing the turnover from Cox. Oquendo over to Romero. Romero switches sides, puts it up. And now Edmondson in the open floor. It's a 3-on-2. Edmondson's going to pull up, pass it back outside to Purcell.
You want Cox to get touches of the ball after making the jump shot. And that was a little bit more reminiscent of last night.
Driving to the basket.
Yeah, but driving to the basket after ball reversal, they looked, they penetrated, it got reversed, they didn't wait, they then attacked it again, and there was much more fluidity of movement, which is what really gave them that great start against France yesterday evening.
The pass to Davis, and she gets inside. Noblet recovers. The pass to Harmon, and she does get it off in time, but difficult shot.
See, I still think a very positive Michaela Cox doesn't pass that up and just says, we're deep on the shot clock, I'm going to take it.
Casanova, that's online, good! Boy, that is a big, big shot from Casanova.
That's a momentum stopper, shall they say, and
she hit a 3 in the first half as well, Casanova.
Still only makes
Purcell gets it in, denied, hustles, but can't get hold of the ball.
That makes Romero 2 for 7. She went 1 from 6 in the first half. She's not going to stop taking it. That takes you back to that play where Cox passed it up with 3 seconds on the shot clock. At least try and get a good look. You're the best shooter we have in that situation. Let Edmondson go after the offensive rebound. Take responsibility. Be decisive. Cox has just got to get going. I thought that jump shot would spark her.
Well, Cuba trying to force it out. Edmondson comes away with it, and it's Harmon out on the fast break as he puts it up and in.
That's a great lead pass. Not a great angle. Just floated it over there. Tremendous pass.
Romero being guarded by Edmondson, gets it to Pavea. Pavea turns, bounce pass, eludes the defense, and Oquendo goes up for the basket. Now Harmon is going to be fouled by Pavea, and that is the 3rd foul on Cuba here in the 3rd quarter. So we're going to get a good look at Thompson, I think, for the first time. Pavea, meanwhile, is going to come out. Edmondson comes out, and Palmas goes in for New Zealand. Cox takes the contact, hands it off to Paul Voss. Romero bumps. Davidson's going to launch a 3. It's not a bad-looking shot, but she's off target now. Casanova gets in the lane, back outside to Oquendo, and the left-handed Oquendo misses. Paul Voss thinking about trying to get it.
Pass
to Davidson, but
Pass was there, Jeff. Pass was there.
And Harmon works her way inside. Great strength from the veteran. And she can get her team back to within 3 points. She makes this. The sense of urgency clearly there now for New Zealand.
Well, you'd expect at some point in that locker room they'd say, this is 20 minutes, and if we don't get it right, we don't get it now, we are on that plane home, as you said. But more transition basketball for New Zealand, much more urgency down the floor. The ball's not getting stuck as much.
Could be a boat ride. She makes it.
They might cruise them home if they make the Olympic tournament.
Paul Vost was the assignment of Casanova. Gillis back in the game. She's going to get into the lane. Over to No Blitz. She gets open. Davidson with the rebound. Much like New Zealand need Cox into it, Cuba would like to have No Blitz.
No Blitz just not having a game. As good as she was against France, he's struggling.
Harmon to Purcell. And she goes up. And good hustle from Cox, but Oquendo sneaks in there, takes the ball away, and Thompson proving to be quite a presence defensively in there.
Once they get into the half court, Cox becomes a little bit anonymous at the moment. I just like to see how she's an MVP in a great league. You'd like her to see him come and take some responsibility right now and get touches of the basketball.
Boy, that was a big-time move from Oquendo.
That's quick. Edmondson could do a lot more, could she? Took it to away from the hoop, contested the shot.
Paul Vost throws it over the head of Davidson and turns it back over. And New Zealand now in danger of falling further behind.
Jeff, they got it back to 5. They've got themselves in a better place. They can't let the occasional mistake. They're going to make a lot of mistakes in this game. They're tired, both teams. That urgency on the bench has got to be there. Defensively, they've got to try and make Cuba take shots that New Zealand want them to take.
Gillis goes baseline, challenges Davidson, and scores. Goodness me. The bigs couldn't score on Davidson, so it took Gillis to get in there and put it over. Back to a 7-point lead now.
Got to move. When the penetration happens, you've got to be able to see the ball.
And Noblet just takes it away from Harmon, gets it to Casanova, who fakes the pass, but was fouled. Called the foul before the pass.
And she had to call the foul. There was a foul. It was, a reasonably hard foul, or an attempt at a hard foul. And as frustrating as the Cuban team find it, Paul Vost did the smart thing for New Zealand. And there's just some emotion on with the coach. It's understandable. He's trying to make a quarterfinal. You've got to love it.
Zabala's having a conversation over there.
This isn't complicated, is it? Both teams are looking a little tired. Both teams are looking, mentally they're feeling the stress of the situation. But New Zealand have found a way to get points. They were much more decisive.
People moving, but not
down
cutting
the
into the
floor.
driving lane.
You can hear Coach saying, we've got to get people moving. We've got to come. We've got to get off. Can't stand still when penetration happens. You've got to give the person with the ball options, and they've got to make the defense react to your movement. And at the moment, New Zealand stand and watch penetration, which is what they did for the whole of the first half. Still waiting for Cox to get going. After I was, from a New Zealand perspective, you love the fact she make the long two. This has gone a little anonymous again.
Gillis, she is certainly not lacking confidence right now. She drives, misses. Edmondson has it. Paul Vost, Edmondson running the baseline. Now Davidson comes up. She's going to go straight at Noblet. Passes back outside to Paul Vost. Balvas, great defense from Casanova. The ball goes out of bounds. Just 3 seconds on the shot clock.
So you get the replay of the help. When Balvas first caught the ball, the defense was still hadn't adjusted. Rip it through and go in the same way they tried to yesterday.
Balvas needs to launch it.
Mental, it's the issues of the back-to-back games, the mental fatigue. Balvas was the player who was, who had it knocked out of bounds. He must have been aware there was 3 seconds on the shot, on the possession.
Oquendo and Cuba almost stretching that lead to 10, but the ball would not fall. Edmondson for 3. Casanova pulls up and gets it to fall. And now the turnover complicates things for New Zealand, and Cuba with a real opportunity. 1:45 remaining. Willis gets it before it goes out of bounds. From the baseline. And Thompson swooped in there to challenge the board. Ball lost out. Davidson comes out. Once we got Galindo Martinez in for Cuba. Brings some quickness. Harmon takes the jumper. Good.
So Harmon's into about a 33rd minute. Getting up, just over 30, getting up 30 minutes plus. She'll be over, by the time she carries on the way she is, she'll have about a 35-minute game by the time this goes through. She's just putting in a shift.
Yeah, she's getting the job done too. New Zealand needed to rub off on the others. Noblet from the baseline finally gets one to go down. Final 40 seconds of the third quarter. And Purcell nowhere to go, but she got fouled by Noblet. So that puts Purcell on the line. An opportunity here for New Zealand, who's struggling to get points all of a sudden. And she's short. New Zealand just making it tough work today. 5 of 8 at the line now, 5 of 9 as a team. Ellis gets in, now Noblet. Linda Martinez gets it over to Casanova. It takes some more time off the clock. It's online. It's another three-pointer for Casanova. And Edmondson drains the three-pointer.
Wow.
48-39. You almost feel like New Zealand needed something to happen at the end after Casanova's three-point dagger, and Zabala, just as he was celebrating, Edmondson went to the other end and buried one. But right now, Cuba still comfortably ahead.
Well, New Zealand have finally got it in the tick from the three-point line, but those stats are not, again, they just, don't tell the story of how well that New Zealand started that third period by really lifting the transition part of their game. They've got back into a half-court sort of slug. They're just slugging it out. It's like two fighters at the end of a fight going toe-to-toe. Neither team is really making much happen. I think, you know, Cuba have just got that little bit more energy, got a little bit more activity on the glass. And in some ways, they're just taking more responsibility. You know, you've seen Casanova, you've seen Ness get to the basket, whereas you've seen Cox give it up. And she's such a good player, Michaela Cox. I don't believe they can win unless Michaela Cox really does pick it up.
Go on, Kiwi at her.
She's got to start to take responsibility.
Don't go at Noblet, because she's not going to bottom it. She's not going to deny it. All right? Yeah, you'll be in the high spot with the guard underneath you. Tony with the big gear, point guard here.
Bring down the three in, so whoever 13's on goes there.
Yes, we're
See, like
all the other athletic
Cox
big.
and Harmon have been out there 28 and 29 minutes apiece. After last night, that's a shift. But in terms of productivity in that time, 1 from 7 doesn't warrant that sort of 28 minutes. She's tired, take her out, get her back, try and get her in a different frame of mind. They can't get back in one go. They've got to start this full quarter positive, and if it gets any bigger, I don't think they have the energy to come back.
Oh, a beautiful pass, but it was read by Cepeda, and she picked it off. The right idea.
Cepeda's been so, I know she's in foul trouble, but she's been so much more productive than she was against France.
Well, now they call a foul.
It looked like a reach, the way the ball came out of the hand, it looked like a reach that prevented the full execution of the pass.
That was Evanson's first foul. Noblet passes to Cepeda, back to Noblet. Nowhere to go, really. And I don't think he's going to turn it over to New Zealand because she can get the rim. Window guarding Beck. Now Cox has it. Harmon gets in the lane and gets it over to Beck, who draws Cox, who draws the foul from Casanova.
Deuxième faute personnelle, Casanova.
Cox gets in the fall. It only gets it back to 8. 9 minutes remaining.
Jeff, it's not the margin, you know, 7 points with 9 minutes to go. It's not a big deal, but you've only scored 41. That's the issue. Cox, after have a poor first half, has only taken 1 shot. Oh, that was a second shot on that foul. In the whole of this half. Chance to run, they've got to run.
Here comes Purcell. Oh, she just takes it all the way, misses the shot.
It's a great push, but she's got to have that composure.
Casanova goes in, misses, and then Beck and Edmondson didn't rebound the miss. Casanova's hit some threes. She's going to put it up. And Harmon comes down with the rebound. Back to Purcell. She's going to drive in and draw the foul from Gellis.
If you're Cuba in that defensive situation, I don't see Purcell being balanced and making that. She was really quick down the floor, but she's got to make the throws, admittedly. But they've had 2 opportunities to run. They haven't executed anywhere near as well as they did last night. Davidson's going to come back. I think that's a great move. She makes these two. It's all of a sudden it's a 5-point game.
The possibilities are there for New Zealand. But the winner of this game moves into that next round. The quarterfinals, the loser goes home. And this time, after missing Purcell makes the elect to leave her in and bring Beck out. I thought they were going to substitute Purcell for a minute there.
It's one of the better combinations that they can have on the floor right now, New Zealand. It's absolutely the right time to have that.
Who's going to come to the fore now for Cuba? Gellis drives in, puts it up and misses.
More chances to run.
And Purcell's just got to get under control more. She faked it. She just has a hard time controlling herself once she gets close to the basket. And the ball goes over Jillian Harmon's head. Suchitela Vila coming off the bench. And is that a unsportsmanlike foul?
So it's definitely unsportsmanlike, and I think they're going to call it Edmondson for something that happened. It looks like it's almost like she threw an elbow. I mean, we need to see it. There's no way we could see it without the replay because it was the action was away from outside of the floor. Let's take a look. So they're all tangled up.
Oh no, they called it on Davidson.
Yeah. They called it on Davidson because they were tangled up and she just tried to get loose. I don't see that as throwing an elbow. That's like getting loose.
That is a major, major call. New Zealand had the ball down 5, and they've called the unsportsmanlike on Davidson for swiping.
Not a swipe.
I mean,
not a swipe. It's not a swipe. She can feel very aggrieved because they were tangled up, and all she was doing from that replay was trying to get loose. And what they got to do is forget it. You know, it's got to play the next play. What Cuba have to do is, at the moment, stop being. They're almost trying to use the clock now. There's still 7 minutes to go. They're almost trying to kill the game. 7 minutes to go. They're only up 6. Plenty of time.
Cepeda's going to back up Paul Vost and go down. So I'll tell you what, write that down with about 7 minutes remaining. The 3 points following the unsportsmanlike foul for Cuba. Harmon pulls up for the jumper.
Tough shot.
And just as you said, they've just got to forget it.
Get on and play now and use it. From their perspective, they should use it.
It's inspiration.
Yep. They've got to stop penetration, though. They can't get Cepeda and people like that taking time, backing them into the post. 13 and 11 for Harmon. It's a shift and a half for the
Ellis wide open. Good! Oh, that's a killer. That is a dagger. Those threes are really falling for the Cubans. Harmon again puts it up and is fouled. Cuba now 6 of 16 from three-point range. New Zealand 2 of 13.
That's a decent screen by Avila down there. Great execution to come up open, but communicate, switch it, do something. Don't look at her make an open look. Harmon's really trying to carry now. Step up. She's made the last 4 points for New Zealand. Goes to 15 personal on a double-double. She's just trying all she can as a veteran to lead this group back into it. Still a long, long time to go, 6 minutes.
Oh, they find wide open Oquendo, but she misses the layup. A reprieve for New Zealand.
That's a bullet dodged.
Cox over to Harmon. She's feeling it. She puts it up again and hits the jump shot.
Harmon time is absolutely, you've got to take your hat off to her. She's digging deep, finding ways to help, and has really started to tick the scoreboard over. Back to 5. That's a great effort to get it back to that manageable number.
Gillis drives, puts it up, and draws the foul. Not a bad decision from Gillis when you're struggling for points.
Again, they allowed to go down the middle. You hate it to see it when they just slice down the middle of your defense and the help doesn't come and the help's not there.
Well, Gillis is having quite a game coming off the bench. She is leading Cuba with 12 points. She could go to 14 here at the line.
And for Gillis, she's been extremely controlled. You know, she's been really efficient in using that speed when it really matters, getting to the line. Still 5:30 to go. This is Cuba can't start just. That's why it's impressive to see Gillis go to the line, go quickly to the basket. This is too soon for Cuba to try and kill this game.
Yep, she's going to have a trap. She passes out of it to Provost. Harmon again open. New Zealand need to crash the boards. No, they don't, because she hits another one.
Same spot.
19 points for Harmon. Now New Zealand needs stops. And you're right, it seems as if Cuba are slowing it down just a bit.
Trying to just contain what they continue to have what they have. They're not trying to increase it.
Cepeda drives in, and Harmon doing it on both ends, playing defense, takes it away.
Too many dribbles for Cepeda. There are a lot of dribbles to go nowhere. The defense should always control that.
And Harmon has to be careful with her arms there. 8 on the shot clock. Provost puts it up, misses, and now Galindo Martinez is fouled from behind by Cox.
This stage of the game, as tired as people are, the game's only a 5-point game. It will come down to decisions. You know, that situation you saw where Provost last time was out of control. They've got to get back in control, get good shots. Cuba have got to be the same. Pick the moment to be aggressive, but don't just try and kill the game.
Galindo Martinez gets it to fall. Boy, ever since she came on against France,
yeah,
from the end of the bench, she's been a spark.
Yeah, it was great little curl, great touch on the shot.
Kalani Purcell puts up the jump shot.
But we often say in this situation, you can't trade, can you? You've got to get stops. 4 points, 5 minutes, 5 points, 4 minutes, no issue at all in terms of time or margin. It's about stops. And Cuba again slow it down.
Now Gillis gets inside, puts it up and in, and they also call a foul.
Middle penetration. Again, it's middle penetration. She's always going to look to put it on the floor, guys. She's not looking to shoot the three very often. Take it away your help is, and the help's got to come in. I mean, stats tell you that Cuba aren't going to make many more threes. They're way up on what they would normally shoot.
Back towards the fucking corners. Stop showing shit. Lazy switches. Then overplaying and giving up middle. Stay in front. Defensively, we get stops down this end. We give ourselves a chance. The scoreboard's rolling over for us, but you guys need to knuckle down that end. Are we? If we're gonna black, we can black everything, but you guys have to do it properly. No lazy switches. All right, so we'll go black. Except for you, son.
Well, Harmon's numbers, 19 points, 12 rebounds. You know, she's just literally made her last 3 shots. She's been doing both ends of the floor. She's getting on the glass. Doing a great job. But as coach just said, can't give up the middle, can't be lazy defensively. And then Cuba have just got shots down the middle the last 3 times. If they lose, they can't lose that way. They've got to lose by forcing Cuba to make big plays and big shots. Not and one plays down the middle. You've got to take your hat off to Cuba, Jeff. We doubted whether they could come out with any sort of confidence at all after they played against France. And, you know, 1 or 2 players, Gillis being one of them, Casanova being another, and Galindo being the third. They've all played well. Cepeda's done a nice job trying to take up some of the slack because Noble's not really been a factor.
Yeah, I think it helped that New Zealand started flat as well and allowed Cuba to build some confidence. But it's a 7-point game, and the man-to-man defense, somebody's got to be able to get to the basket. Cox gets it to Harmon inside, and Galindo Martinez helped out.
There were 3 blue shirts around that pass. Great lift on the weak side. Just hit the weak side. Get that help to close out, long closeouts.
Oh, Cuba make a mistake and allow Harmon to catch it wide open. 5-point game again.
Crucial now. They've got to get a stop next time. This time or next time, you've got to get at least one stop here to get it for under 5. Get them that momentum again. No middle penetration.
Well, Noblet passes back out to Casanova, who pulls up at the line, and ball rattles out.
Much better defensively. Didn't allow her to turn the corner. Oh, what quickness.
And then Cox almost turned it over. Casanova almost came up with a steal.
Everyone in a white uniform was gone. They just turned their head and said, yeah, you do that. And she's looking to pass. And she should be looking to pass. She shouldn't have to work that hard at this stage to get it over. Get an option down the floor.
So they've got 2 seconds to get it across midcourt. And they're going to call a foul on Casanova.
Quite right.
And that's number 4 on Cuba, so no free throws yet for New Zealand. So great effort by Cuba, but
Cox does a great job here. The way she's keeping her arms down, which obviously the referee's going to note that and then note the arm over the top, which generates the foul. Cox did a really nice job.
Now Edmondson to Harmon. Somebody's got to go to the glass for New Zealand, and she is fouled by Gellis. Well, ordinarily I'd say don't foul the jump shooter, but I suppose as hot as Harmon's been, you can't fault Gellis.
Well, it's almost one-on-one clear out. Harmon's the hot hand. We're just going to throw it there and watch her because no one moved again. There's so much space down the middle that someone could have back cut there. But Harmon, just in terms of her effort, she's almost carrying this team back into the game. This will make it a 3-point game if she makes it.
So she'll get it to 4 if she makes 1 of 2. New Zealand 11 of 16 at the line as a team, and now 12 of 17, 71%.
Wow, 4's as close as they've been in a very long time.
Casanova and Gellis both played well today. Oquendo gets it back to Casanova. Shot clock winding down. Gellis thinks about it. Edmondson comes out. Now Noblet gets it. She's been quiet. Passes over to Casanova, and it's too late. Casanova certainly came with her shooting shoes on today, but fortunately for New Zealand.
And Jeff, there's part of me that's thinking if Cuba do surrender this lead, they've only got themselves to blame. They've got far too early gone to try and kill it. And when they've been aggressive, they've been rewarded.
Ball watched over to Harmon. She puts up a jumper again. Fouled by Gellis for the 2nd consecutive time.
Why? You've got to say why. Why foul her? She's off balance. I know she's made shots, but it's not as if no one could tell what New Zealand were doing there. Must make both.
I'll tell you, New Zealand, well, she's missed another one.
She's got to make this one. It's a 1-possession game if she makes this one. Get it to 3. They're within 1 possession.
She makes 1 of 2. And 13 of 19 at the line for New Zealand. Harmon 23 points. Can't really find any fault with her performance today. She's been terrific. Cuba called a timeout. They're going to try to figure out a way to slam the door shut.
They run that really nice action where they have Galinda coming on a curl. They have a really nice action where they clear it out and get Gallus to go.
Cuba have 2 timeouts.
New Zealand are now beginning to, Cuba have been very much about that penetration and making things happen for themselves. They've gone away from that in the last couple of minutes. Gallus on penetration, Galinda on a curl, and if they need it, they've still got Casanova deep on the shot clock for the perimeter shot. So they've got options all the way through the clock. They really should need to be aggressive now. They don't look like a team that does a great job trying to control the clock. It's not like watching a Greek national team run 20 seconds and then get a great open look off a pick and roll. This is the sort of stuff they've been very effective at. Penetration with the quickness of Gallus, or the moves of Galindo coming off curls, but she's not in the game. We've had 2 great ones to start this. They've gone to the 2-3 zone out of that timeout. They might show man coming out of the first pass.
Oh, they're going to go to Noblet.
Yep, they've got man after the first pass.
And clearing out. Oh, they're going to call the hold on Kalani Purcell. That's 2 shots for Noblet. Well, it's not a bad position to be in if you're Cuba.
If you make your throws. Now, if you make your throws, you're in control of this. But Purcell's played behind the back defense. It's bound to go into Noblet. She's a big body and she's a good free throw shooter. Can't just camp yourself underneath the defense when she's that deep. Got to get in front. There's no space to lob you. And Noblet doesn't have that athleticism to really be a lob option.
She makes both and takes it back to 5. Paul Vost. And you got to watch those quick Cuban guards. They're going to come up. Bit of a mismatch here for Harmon. She can go around Noblet, and she is bumped. And that's good for New Zealand because it stops the clock and it puts Harmon on the line. How did Noblet end up guarding Harmon?
They switched on the out of the burst ball screen.
Gets that one to fall. So the New Zealand fans breathe a sigh of relief. 141 remaining, and she makes both. Now New Zealand needs to stop, and Purcell needs to remember she's got to play in front of Noblet, or they'll do the exact same thing.
Cuba slow it down again.
And this time, she's a little bit further away from the basket. They get it outside to Akendo for 3! Edmondson with the rebound. The Tall Ferns have it.
Purcell did enough. She fought for the position, got Noblet off the block.
Harmon's going to go in. She's going to take a tough shot. And the ball goes out of bounds. Back over to New Zealand with 1:04 remaining. Might they look at a 3?
Well, Edmondson has been one of the places they go if they're looking at perimeter game. But her and Cox haven't been a factor. Harmon has.
It's going to be Edmondson for 3. Misses. That was a 3 to tie it, but she missed it badly. So they've got to get another stop. And if they get the stop and get it back, you have to wonder if Cuba might foul. I don't think they will. I think they'll play it. 7 on the shot clock now. 6, 5, 4, 3. Gallus. Pump fake gets inside. And did not get it up in time.
Called a foul.
Wow.
Jeez. Let's have a look. Gallus wasn't expecting the foul. Yeah, that probably tells you how much contact there was or there wasn't.
So Gallus has been at the line before, made them, and misses this one.
This makes it a 2-possession game if she makes this second one. Makes it incredibly difficult for New Zealand.
No, but she misses. So Kalani Purcell has it. You got to find your point guard.
They need something. They can't wait. They can't go too long unless they're going to go for the tie here.
Cox is trying to find Harmon. Up. Paul Voss thought about it. It's going to be Cox for 3. Go! The Douvres have tied it. Incredible. She hasn't been able to buy a 3 all tournament except for that first one against France. And as cool as you like, Michaela Cox has knotted the game at 62. 12.8 seconds remaining. Boy, what did we do to deserve the drama that we've been watching here in Nantes?
Now you know that if Cuba if they get it in, which is the third thing they'll get it in, you know they're going to want to attack the basket, and you know they'd like Gallus to be that person to do it. So it's not. I don't think it's hard to work out. It's like you can't foul, but if you are, you've got to foul early enough to get it back, and then you still got the timeout to bring it down. Gallus, it's all sorts of permutations now. But the coach in me says trust your defense. Trust your defense. Make them miss. Force it. Come up with steal. Don't play this game where you trade free throws, although that's an option, because Gallus has just missed her last 2. Do you foul on the pass and give yourself 11 seconds to win it with a 3 or tie it with a 2, or do you trust your defense? I hope they trust their defense.
Well, they advanced the ball. They've got Suchi Telavila in there, who could be a decoy, but she's also a shooter.
She's a great screener,
They've got
too.
Romero, and Casanova's had the hot hand. Gallus not even in the game.
Wow.
Noblet gets it inside, misses, gets it back.
Oh.
They have called a foul. Can you believe it? They have called a foul against New Zealand with 1.2 seconds remaining. They were scrapping for the ball. The Serbian referee has blown the whistle.
Let's take a look. Yeah, that's a foul.
She was gliding.
Yeah.
Is that the foul that they called?
They must have called the foul. They must have called the foul on the rebound, because there was nothing after that. There was just arms. There was nothing after that. Would like to see it again. I don't think we're going to get a chance to. If that's what they've called, there was a foul, because the offensive rebounder had it, and after getting it, there was contact from Fox, who was going after the ball. That's a foul, and an official has to make that call. There's no like, oh, you know, we won't call it now. So you got it. That's fair enough. If that was the call, 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, both teams in the bonus anyway.
There's a timeout called if...
Yeah, that was New Zealand's timeout. So now they can't advance the ball.
They're going to have to go to full court in 1.2.
They called the foul on Michaela Cox.
Yeah, Michaela Cox was on the rebound. If that was a New Zealand timeout, wow.
Cepeda at the line, rewarded for crashing the boards, a chance to effectively put her team in the quarterfinals if she makes it. The first one is up and in.
Missed the second one.
That's what she has to do. She has to intentionally miss it. But she makes it.
New Zealand did take the timeout.
Edmondson had a chance. Cuba have won, and New Zealand, some of the players, Edmondson certainly has broken down in tears. They have lost cruelly, but this is basketball. And you have to tip your hat to Cuba. Difficult circumstances. They made the free throws at the end. Cepeda. And 64-62. I suppose great moment for Cuban basketball, but a big disappointment for New Zealand, who now, after months of training and hard work, have no chance of moving into the Olympics. And Kennedy Kariyama offering his congratulations to Alberto Zavala. And you're right, Mark. I mean, at the end of the day, the referee, she sees the foul, she calls it. That's what it was. It was on the rebound, and we clearly had a good view. And Cepeda then capitalized by going to the line to make both free throws.
You know, you're getting those stats there. Again, the only stat that matters is 64 and 62. They're the only numbers that really, really count. And you know, it's a massive disappointment for New Zealand, but you've got to give some credit here to Cuba. They were down, they were disappointed, they were feeling bad about themselves, and maybe coach got it right in terms of saying, well, we got some positive out of it. He must have spent the last 2 days talking about things they needed to do well to get the game and get the win. Get us with 16 points. Don't let us, even though she was quiet, 10 boards. And, you know, at the end of the day, Cuba just had more energy, outworked this New Zealand team, and they're going to go away thinking, well, we've come a long way, but they're going to go away disappointed. Cepeda, we said right at the beginning of the game, had to offer a little bit more than she did in the first day, and she did. And they got contributions across the roster. You can't end the game without talking about Harmon. Harmon really did almost carry her team right back into the quarterfinals. Great game. We've had two tremendous ones, and it's a little bit of what could have been for New Zealand as they walk off the floor.
Yeah, Harmon, 21 of her game-high 25 points in the second half, and was just just a remarkable performance. There you have it. Confirms France move into the quarterfinals with Cuba, and New Zealand, despite having some great moments in this tournament, end up losing both games, and they will end it in disappointment. In fact, you know, Harmon had 14 of her game-high 24 points in the fourth quarter. That's how good she was. And all for naught, really. So New Zealand have to leave the tournament early, and the women's Olympic qualifying tournament fought much more excitement. So congratulations to Cuba, and stick around for the rest of the action today coming your way here from Nantes.